morning and surprise. This is a midweek madness from Annie. It's not the knitting news from Teesside Knit Happens, because I didn't go on Thursday because I was going on a journey. So there's a little snippet about that where I look totally glamorous, so bear with. Good afternoon. We're supposed to be going away in our little dinky old motorhome, and it decided to be broken and the part's not available, so we're going camping in the car with the tent, which we haven't done for about 20 years, and my husband's already gone the wrong way at the roundabout. Oh, you're going up the A19? Yeah. Of course you are. So the doggies are going to sleep in a tent. Aren't you, Roxy and Lottie? Lottie looks like the Bisto kid. Tim was going to go fishing, but he left all his fishing stuff in the van. So we've got a few snacks, and I've got no pots to wash because we haven't got any with us. We've got no way of making any coffee, and we've just got something to sleep in, haven't we? Like being 20 again. So what happened was, the day before we were going away, the van broke. Or should I say, Tim noticed that the van was broken. So luckily we didn't set off. We hung on all morning on Thursday to see if the part, our mechanic was going to put the part on. And then he phoned early afternoon to say that it didn't fit. So up in the loft we got the tent out and the sleeping bags and one roll mat, because that's all we could find. And because we didn't have a fridge with us, we didn't take much of any food, just some bananas and things. No way of making coffee, and set off on our journey to Fife. The reason we were going to Fife was because on Saturday it was my birthday. And I'd had a newsletter from GIlpin, who is the lady who designed this jumper. It's called Oak. That's the back. That's just I-cord picked up, but I've shown it before. And I'm not putting it on now because it's 26 degrees Celsius at the moment, which is only 78 or something like that, but it feels hot to me. Hence the thinnest ranunculus I own is what I'm wearing. So GIlpin sent a newsletter, and she had a Gansey course. It was a workshop on Saturday, and that was my birthday, so I thought, oh, I'm going to book that. So we thought we'll go anyway, and we'll go with the tent and have an adventure. And it was actually all right, but we had water to drink and had to buy all any decent food out, which was fine. And the best thing about it was there was a really good Chinese, like a 5-minute walk away. So for 2 nights we had Chinese, and then the third night we went out somewhere else and had a posh sandwich, very expensive for what it was, posh sandwich. So we probably should have had the Chinese for 3 nights, because the Chinese was outstanding. The workshop was about Ganseys, and there were I think there were 5 of us, and GIlpin and Sheila, I don't know her surname, and it was so informative. It was really, really interesting. I mean, I could probably pick up any of the patterns and knit them, but all their knowledge was quite expansive, and they've both taken a deep dive down a rabbit hole into Gansey knitting, and studied it for quite a while. Such a deep dive that once they got locked in the museum, because somebody forgot they were there. Somebody asked what is the difference between Ganseys and Guernseys? I think the thing was with a Guernsey, it's knitted on a machine and seamed, and it is like the oiled wool, but it's a Gansey is knit in the round, not on circulars, usually on the long needle, long DPNs, and they had a wealth of information about Ganseys. A lady had very kindly given them a tin with notes in, because the Gansey knitters and the herring girls who travelled around following the herring trade, gutting them, they also knitted at the same time to make some money. They all had their own notes, and they all made things up themselves, and they all, there was a pride, there was a big pride in the knitting, like, I suppose we are now still. So there was one with love hearts all over it, which is not sort of my cup of tea, but it was absolutely beautiful, because it was subtle, because the stitches are usually all in one colour, the Ganseys are usually all in one colour, and then I think when you get over to Sweden and places like that, they did knit Ganseys and things, but they had more like colour work on them. So anyway, this tin had formulas and top secret stitches, stitch counts, all the information, and it's in GIlpin's book. So this is GIlpin's book. It's been out for a couple of years, and I had seen it, but I hadn't bought it, and now I'm glad, because now I've got a signed version. So that's good, isn't it? Oh, there's a dude in there. I tried that one on. Look completely different on me. So it's 150 Gansey stitches and a short history of the Ganseys. Bella with her whisker and wires, knitting sheath, belt and needles. I have to actually sit and read this, so I have taken in what they were talking about. I think Bella's the lady whose tin they got with all her notes. There's some notes. And Bella had done a different gusset in the armhole, because the Ganseys had no shaping in them, they were just a tube, and to make more movement available, which is similar to a kimono, it's the same as a kimono pattern, where there's a gusset underneath the arm. Well, there was a specific way that she'd done it, and I'm going to put some pictures on of that. Now I thought that was like shawl shaping. It's a similar kind of concept to how you make a shawl go off in one direction. Quite like the Murder Knits shawl. Quite like that. So yeah, there was different ways of doing lots of things. Some of them had a pattern all the way up, some of them had a pattern and then a yoke. Some of them, I think, some of them had a plainer body and a more patterned top. There was a way of doing a 3 needle cast off on your front and back. And it was quite common to have verges. So rows of stocking stitch, and then rows of either garter stitch or reverse stocking stitch to make verges over the shoulders, which would work like ribbing and have a bit of giving and a bit of stretch, and then they would move like that. But then if they did a three needle cast off on the inside of the fabric, you wouldn't be able to see a seam at all over the shoulder. So I've got an example of that, I think. So this, it was in Fife, and we stayed at St Mornan's, which was lovely, and had a windmill and salt pans, and they had used coal as well, and it was apparently a very smelly process to make salt. But I would have to research more into that to understand what they were on about. An outdoor pool and windmill. And we went to Pittenweem, which is a great name, isn't it? And in Pittenweem they had a good little collection of shops. You could buy most things that you needed, visit the library, have a good coffee, with a real rose on the table that smelt divine, and the most fantastic wool shop. A really, really good wool shop. I should be sewing, but while the house is quiet, black coffee with a touch of vanilla. So, with the Shark Week coming up on the 7th of July, hosted by Politically Incorrect Knitters, what you need to do is you need to go find them and register with them and tell them what you're going to do, and then you have to knit it. You have to choose a project, knit it, finish it within a week. So it's between the 7th and the 14th, and if you don't get it finished in time, you have to pull it all out and the shark gets it. So this is, the name of the shop in Pittenweem is the Woolly Brew, and this is an alpaca collection of yarns that are unplied, I think. So they're like singles, so they'll be very, very soft. And there's 3 patterns inside here. There's 2 shawls and a cowl, which amazingly I have never ever made a cowl. Can I show you them without giving you the patterns? Yes, probably. So there's this shawl. This cowl, but it is 3 colours and you can't really see all of the colours on there. So I think I will knit the cowl. I don't even know. It's Rowan Alpaca Classic. And 4.5mm needles are required. And that's another sort of shawl scarf. So that comes in a kit. So it's 3 25-gram balls of gorgeousness. Superfine alpaca and cotton. 57% alpaca and 43% cotton. So that is a potential make for me to do in Shark Week. The other potential make for me to make in Shark Week, because I have not decided yet. Oh, and as well as participating, you could watch Sharky things on Netflix or on other TV places, or read Sharky books, or go for a walk near the sea and spot a shark and document it all and put it on your Instagram or whatever with the hashtag that you'll find at Politically Incorrect Knitters, and I will once I'm clear with what things are, I'll talk about it here too. So this is my other potential knit for Shark Week, which is King Cole Cutie Pie double knitting from the Woolly Brew, and this baby cardigan, which is quite sweet and would do a boy or a girl, I thought. So they're my woolly purchases from my holiday. So that was why there was no knitting news on Sunday. And there should be some this week, but I'll show you what I've been knitting on, because I've actually had some knitting time this week. So I'm knitting on this, which kind of like, that's better light today. I've got a nice balloony sleeve. Is it a balloony sleeve? It just all the decreases happen at once at the cuff, and the splits down the side. Mohair lace. You pick up some stitches underneath here and you increase, and then there's some more increases as you go down. So it looks gathered and it looks like another garment underneath. So I've done that side, and I think I've more or less done this side too. But then they join up across here. I hope it's not going to curl this much. I shall have to do something about that. So that's where I am with, I think I keep calling it Catching Breeze, and it's Collecting Breeze, I think. I'll put the name on. So that is this week's knitting news, and no, it's not, it's last week's knitting news, and there will be another knitting news, hopefully, fingers crossed everything goes all right. Next week. No, on Sunday, maybe. Yes, there should be, because I aim to go to knitting this week. And I'll update you on what everybody else has been doing. There's my face cream. Aged beautifully, frankincense and sandalwood. Isn't that nice? It smells a little bit like furniture polish, but not quite. So this is from a natural skincare shop in Whitby, and this is what my husband got me for my birthday, because it's quite expensive. And I had bought some in a very dinky little pot that was very nice, and it just melts into your skin. So on daughter's advice, he bought me that. Daughter bought me this, and it's got a bit grubby probably now. It's pink, but in some lights it's blue. It just changes colour, which is quite amazing. And son, he said, what do you want for your birthday? So I thought, what I really need is some gardening shoes that slip on at the back door, or, you know, just anything that I can just slip on. I have been wearing some hush puppies that have been, actually, they went through a phase until their feet got too big of everybody wearing them, and actually my husband was still shoving his feet in them, and they were absolutely trashed, and one of the puppies had chewed a bit off the front as well, and they were actually leaking. Water was coming in through the toes. So I took them to the this was so funny. So I'm a seamstress, and I have regular customers, and I have a fabulous customer who buys lots of clothes and looks like she's loaded, but she actually doesn't spend that much on her clothes, but I make them fit perfectly. And she's always well presented. Because I once had another customer saying, oh, she spends a lot on clothes, doesn't she? And I was like, I don't know. Anyway, Carol, this lovely customer of mine, I'd gone into the cobblers outside a local supermarket with my gardening shoes, because I just love them. They're lightweight and they were so comfortable, and so practical that I kept them, even though they were falling apart, for 30 years. And then the soles fell off, so I thought, well, I'll go and get them glued back on. So I went in the cobblers with them, and then within about 20 seconds, Carol came in, and there's me. Can you glue me soles back on these, please? It was so funny. And actually, he did, and he didn't charge me because he said it won't last because there's a hole in the bottom. So when Son said, what do you want for your birthday? I said, do you know what I could really do with? Some size 5 slip-on gardening shoes that don't have holes in, so not Crocs. I didn't actually plan on telling you about all my birthday presents, but they're all practical except for this, which is just fabulous. So he bought me some gardening shoes, and he was absolutely spot on with the colour choice and the pattern choice. And I can say that they are very comfortable. They probably won't last me another 30 years, but they might not have to. Yeah, they might not have to. And they're absolutely perfect. I'm over the moon with them. So here's a picture of them. Meanwhile, Animal Antics. Pussycat's all right. Millie, she's fine. Lottie and Roxy enjoyed their holiday, but they were glad to get home. They're very well behaved. We had a nice time. They quite enjoyed the tent. Lottie was a good pillow. In fact, she was against the tent, and then we had no pillows. I rolled some clothes up, shoved them against Lottie, and then my sleeping bag's got a kind of a hood thing on it, so that went over the top of the clothes, and they were wedged between Lottie and me for the last night. The last night was the most comfortable, but I must say that the first 2 nights were like, how is the floor so hard?
And joints, you just feel like something's pushing you. I felt like I had a ton of bricks on me. Oh, dreadfully uncomfortable. But I did walk outside into the garden one day and saw some fish. I caught them. It's not very good footage, but here you go.
So more news, maybe in about 4 days.